Hi, and welcome to episode 134 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm Ren,
I'm River.
and today we will be talking about sound magic.
Y'all, I
I
am obsessed. I am obsessed with sound
was
magic.
gonna be like, ooh, ooh, any sound, I guess, is
I I love sound.
useful.
Sounds, I mean, not just music, because music is also a huge thing. There's
Hmm.
a whole different episode we could do just on music magic, but sound, it's the coolest thing.
You're really into sound, like you really like music.
Hmm.
Like music is really big for you. I'm
Yeah,
just
I think,
really focused on color. Color is really big for me.
yeah, I think in a different life, I think
You're
that
a
if you're in,
musician.
yes, if you're in, I think that I can't put my time into music because it would take my entire being.
Yeah.
And I'm into art and I'm into writing. I'm into all these different things.
Hmm.
Music is such a magnificent thing that my life would be absorbed with music. So maybe in a prior life or a future life, that will be my calling. But
Yeah.
I am trying to, I actually have physically cut myself off from music because I know that I could become it would absorb my life.
You could have
But
been a
anyway,
famous like musician, singer, songwriter.
and maybe I was. I certainly can't sing in this life.
Maybe that's your karma for whatever you did in your past
Whatever
life.
I did, they're like, you don't get to have music in
Yeah,
this life
you
because you
don't
were
get
bad
that.
in your last life.
No, imagine if we both had past lives together. I can't sing either. So whatever the heck we did, we're both
And
tone
now we
deaf.
go and do karaoke together.
Oh, it's awful. Everyone's ears are bleeding by the end of the night. It's
But
great.
thank God everybody loves us. So
Uh-huh, uh-huh. But first, what are we drinking? So
okay. It's been a
today,
shitty day.
yes, today I'm not so much drinking, but eating my drink.
You're eating your drink.
I'm eating my drink. I went to Dairy Queen and I
Mm.
got a blizzard. Both my husband and I got a blizzard because we were both exhausted and needed something. And Dairy Queen, we live literally zero point 0.4 miles away from a Dairy Queen. So we got Dairy Queen. It was on the way home. We were
Yeah,
like, we might as well.
it's just been a long ass day. I know your work was long because we text back and forth throughout the day
Yeah.
sometimes, and her day was shitty, my day was shitty.
Yeah.
It was very long. I'm very tired. It was pouring down rain. We had a
Mm.
tornado watch here,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like,
Ma'am.
I had my pink wine that I love so much, and that's my sparkling wine. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
drinking.
I forgot it was raining earlier because I mean towards the afternoon it's like not sunny but cloudy, I guess. But I
Oh, it
loved the
was
rain.
storms. I mean, and I'm stuck inside because I was dealing with work.
Hmm.
And my husband took one look at me and he's like, "Why don't we go out and eat?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then we looked outside and it was pouring down. He's like, "Never mind." And I was like, I'll just drink my dinner. It's okay. It's okay."
No,
So
I forgot
anyway,
it was raining though. It was really nice last night with all the thunder and the lightning.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was nice. I remember I
My
was
hubby
having a
said
dream. Go ahead.
it woke my husband up. I don't know. I
Oh
didn't
yeah, it
hear it.
woke me up too.
Yeah.
I was having a dream and thunder was in the dream where I thought I dropped something or my animals had dropped something. So I woke up and I was like, like what fell in our house? Like what do we need to like I need to go pick it up. I need to clean it up before like my animals get into it. And then I was like kind of half awake, not really. And I saw like a flash of light and I still wasn't quite awake and I was like, what the
Uh-huh.
fuck is going on? Like I don't my mental state when I just woke up it was probably like 1 in the morning or something. And I was like, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew
Yeah.
was there was a sound and I wanted to make sure my babies were okay.
Yeah.
Of course, my husband was snoring next to me with his freaking mouth open.
You know what I
And
dreamed about last night?
what?
Snakes.
Oh.
It was the weirdest dream. Okay. I
You
know
have
this is
weird
way,
dreams.
way off topic, but guys, really. So I am not a big snake fan. I am afraid of snakes,
I'd
but
rather deal
not
with
like
snakes than spiders.
I would rather deal with snakes than spiders too. Um, or scorpions. Those are the worst. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. So I was dreaming that there was these snakes and I was terrified of them and they were going to get me and then I finally realized, oh, but it's not poisonous and it looks really kind of cute. It's really a cute snake. So now
Okay.
we got to go and get food for the snake. And we ended up at this store, my husband and I, and I'm like, we have to get steak for the snake. And it was $98 a pound. He's like,
Oh
we are
shit.
not spending $98 a pound for a snake for food. And I'm like, but the snake needs food. And so then I'm like, oh, but these bird seed. I've read somewhere that the snakes like these bird seeds. So we'll buy these bird seed. So then we get back to this apartment wherever we are. And I was so afraid the snakes were going to get out because there were these gaps. And I'm like, snakes can fit through these really small places and it's going to get
Hmm.
out. And I'm like, we've got to go get something that will keep the snake here, some kind of food that we're really interested. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden it was pouring down rain, which must have been the thunderstorm that was going
Hmm.
on. And it was
Hmm.
just incorporated into my dream. And he's like, well, we're not going anywhere because right now the road is flooded. And I looked out and it was flooded from, I mean, I could see where it started and see where it ended. It was just the weirdest dream. And then there was this poisonous snake that popped up and I hit it with a baseball bat.
Okay.
And and then I felt really bad because I had hit this snake
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was very, very strange.
You have weird dreams.
I do. I am
You
very a lot of people like my husband, he flits from image to image. There is no cohesive. I have dreamed entire books, like
hmm
or a movie, entire
hmm
movies in my dream from start to finish. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, that would be great. And then of course I forget it. Or I'll wake up and write it down and then I read it later and I'm like, what the fuck was I
What
talking
is going
about? What does
on?
this mean? Okay,
Interesting.
way off topic. Sorry about that,
No,
but
that's fine, but you do
that
have
was
weird dreams. We could do whole episodes on just your dreams.
yeah. And I try to write them down because they're so fascinating. I do like to write, and dreams often come from, I mean, writing stories
I
often come
wouldn't,
from dreams.
I'm just saying I would not want to be in your mind. Like that seems like a terrifying place.
Very, very true statement there
Hmm.
with all
Okay,
of my personalities. Anyway,
absolutely. It was funny. I turned to my husband and I said something. Like I was like, I said something and he was like, yeah, you and your nine personalities. And I was like, wow,
oh, did he say
nine?
rivers rubbing off on you?
No.
At some point, I expect our husbands to get together and go, these girls don't need to spend this much time
Yeah.
together.
Like there's a, like, they need to, settle down.
Settle down, stay separate. Because I think I'm going over to see you this weekend too.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you aren't staying for
because
too long,
no,
sadly.
but Will has one of our
Yes.
listeners and our
Yes.
patrons that we love, Will, has sent us a package
I'm so excited.
and he wants us to open it together. So I'm going to
Yes.
over this weekend. So we're gonna pick it up and open it together this weekend.
Maybe we can record it.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Like record us like opening the box. That would be
That
really
would be
fun.
fun.
If we
Yeah.
don't get too excited. Like w- we we get really excited. So we plan all these things and then we're in the moment, we're like we tear through and we're like, yeah, yeah, this is awesome and we enjoy it and then we're like, "Oh shoot. We
We
forgot
forgot
to
to
record
record
or whatever it
it.
is that we said we were going to do." So, if we remember, we will record it.
Yes, and Will, we are so excited. We
Mhm.
really, really appreciate it.
I'm excited. I was just thinking about it. I guess it was earlier today. All my days are like mushed together. Because my husband had asked, he was like, "Oh, did River ever go get the package? And like, did
Hmm.
she open it?" And I was like, "No, we're gonna open it together. So we're probably gonna open it when she comes to town this weekend." He was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, I wonder what's in there. And I was like, I don't know, but I'm super
I know, I'm
excited.
so
And
excited.
I'm very excited.
It's just so cool to have someone think about us and like us enough to do that.
I feel special.
I know. Oh, and before we start, I'm sorry, we're taking a
We're
long
just
time to really
so
get
just
started.
skip to like 10 minutes in, and then
Uh,
that's where we'll actually start the actual topic.
but tell everybody about the giveaway we're doing.
Oh my gosh, this is a great area to put our giveaway announcement.
Yes.
So I have worked very hard today on getting this video up on the social media platforms that we have. I didn't upload it on Twitter or whatever X is, whatever it's called now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I got locked out of our account, but that's another story. Yes, anyways, I'm not
Told
very
you it's
good
been
with
a day.
technology. Yeah.
It's been a day.
So like my first half of the day was slow-ish. And so I was like, okay, I can work on some podcast stuff, worked on our giveaway and got locked out of account, got busy, etc. So we are doing a giveaway. So anyone can win, any listener. You don't have to be
Hmm.
a subscriber, a patron, a Buzzsprout subscriber. You don't have to be that. Now we are going to do special things for our subscribers soon. Like we have
Yes.
some things in the works. We're super excited.
Yes.
But this one's first. So we're doing a giveaway to any listener. Two listeners will win. Two. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm super excited. Kind of like how our mug one was, where we had
Hmm.
a couple of winners for those.
Hmm.
So it's just easier to go watch the video on either Facebook. You got it up on Facebook?
I did. I got it on
So
Facebook.
we got it on Facebook. We got it on Instagram and TikTok. Those are like kind of our main platforms that we're using right now. That's where we have most traction, most followers, interaction.
Hmm.
So if you go and watch our video, it'll say like we're doing a giveaway, any like two winners. See, I made a typo. It said two winners will win. I fixed it
Well,
in
that's a
the
true
final
statement.
edition. Yes, it says two listeners will win, and we
Okay.
have four designs that you will be able to choose from. So
For a
I designed
t-shirt.
two for a t-shirt. I designed two, you designed two, and
Hmm.
this will go on a t-shirt. So if you are a winner, we will reach out to you and ask you your t-shirt size and how you would like it, and then we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Boom, bam.
Yeah. Which design you want,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have it made and
Mm-hmm.
sent on its way to you.
Yes. And
So,
so
and
to
that's gonna
qualify,
be yes.
yes, we're all over the place. To qualify to be a winner, you have to listen to our Clay Magic episode, which comes out May 24th. Hopefully, May 24th, and we will have a code word somewhere in our episode. So, kind of like how we did our last giveaway.
Hmm.
And if you email us our code word at c3riverandrin@gmail.com, we will be able to add your name into our, what do you want to call it? List?
A
A
drawing.
drawing. And
Hmm.
that's how we'll have your name for it's going to be a random draw. So we'll put your all's name in a random wheel generator or however we
Hmm.
do it. And it'll just be completely random. We'll record the whole thing and post it on all of our social media platforms and then reach out to you.
Yes. I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited too.
I really like the designs that we came up with for
Hmm.
this.
See, so I offered one of my designs that I had designed for Llamas, and then
Because
I
that
designed a
we've
brand new
got
one.
time for that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I
So I'm
designed
pretty
two
excited.
brand new ones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, I'm just gonna do two new ones, and I was like, it might be cool to offer one that I like that we've already made. No, it's
I
fine.
figured though, if they wanted the ones that we've already made, they would have bought the ones we already made.
I
So
know, but the
this is
company that we are partnered
these.
with right now, it's a
Yes,
little a bit pricey. I like I
I
said, we are working
understand.
on getting our prices down and hopefully
We're
moving
working on
it
it.
to us being individual, so we're not going to have to go through a third party. That's what we're working
Hmm.
on right now.
Hmm.
But currently our prices are pretty high. So we completely understand if you don't purchase anything from our website.
Hmm.
Now it is
But
cool.
for the giveaway, I wanted to have two designs that you can't get anywhere else, and only two
Hmm.
people will ever have these t-shirts
Hmm. That's very
because
true.
and
I
it could
mean,
be
who
whichever.
knows? If no one
Hmm.
even orders my Llamas design, then you'll be the only one who has it. It'll be a one
Yeah,
of a kind
a one
t-shirt.
of a kind.
And
It
when
could
we're
be.
famous and going places, you can sell that t-shirt for $1 million.
There you go.
It'll be
Absolutely.
worth something one day. And if you bring it to one of our, meet and greets one day or one of our shows, if we're able to do any shows, I will sign it for you. and then it'll be worth
Mm.
$2 million. No,
Okay, so
but
we
for
have
real,
now spent like
like
10
20
minutes,
minutes.
if not more, 12 minutes, I think, actually.
Great.
Let's talk about sound magic because it's really
Okay.
cool.
So I don't even know how we came up with this topic idea.
I
It
don't
was
either.
one of our previous episodes, and I know we were just talking about like what do we need to talk about. We were like kind of talking about what we are planning for the rest of the year type of thing.
Hmm.
Like we kind of try to base it month by month around the Sabbats, et cetera, et cetera. Now, does it work out entirely? No, but we do try. So
We do.
I think sound magic just kind of came up because
Well,
we
I love sound.
we know that there's a lot of like incantations and like when you write spells you can say them, and so we're like, okay, there's more to it than that. Like we are using like these verbal vibrations, and
Hmm.
that has to mean something. So that's kind of where we spiraled from.
I mean, wind chimes to me on my
Oh, I
deck.
love wind chimes.
When I go out there, especially right now and this time of year, because it's not too hot yet, I'm not,
You can see my wind chimes through the
yes, I can. But I go out and I sit on my deck and the wind chimes, I have this one set of wind chimes that are just fabulous.
Are they your metal ones?
Yes, the
Those
ones I
big
got up in
dense.
Helen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
those are
my
beautiful.
God. And the sound of those, it just like vibrates in my soul.
Hmm. Oh, it's
And so,
beautiful.
yeah.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's
So,
why. Hmm.
yes. So, sound magic is also known as sonic magic or phonetic magic. And it is a form of witchcraft that harnesses the power of sound and vibrations to manifest intentions, alter consciousness, and facilitate spiritual transformation.
Yep.
And I know I'll get a little bit more into this, but to me, sound like wind chimes, but even just the sound of trees and the wind blowing,
The wind and
that
leaves.
to
Yeah.
me is something that's so I don't know. I can't even put like a word to it. It's so
I know it touches your
relaxing, but it's
soul.
yeah, it
It
touches your
does.
soul. It makes me feel at home and I'm comforted by it. So, this whole belief and this whole sound magic is based in that it has the ability to influence the energetic vibrations of the universe, including those within ourselves and our environment. Now, I will be a nerd for a second, and with space, we are moving at super fast speeds. Like
Hmm.
every single particle of dust is moving within our universe, and we're all making sounds. Like everything has a sound. Our planet obviously has a sound because we, as human beings and all of that, we emit vibrations and we emit sound. But let's say Saturn, for example, there are sounds within the ring, like vibrations within the rings around that planet that we can listen to from us because the sound waves push towards Earth. Isn't this so cool? So sound waves emit out from wherever they come from. So
Hmm.
it takes a certain amount of time, however, like the speed of what sound travels to get to us. So we're not hearing the sound current from Saturn. We're hearing what it was like, let's say 20 minutes ago,
Now,
whatever. I
that's
love
so
it. It's so cool.
interesting because part of my research said that sound cannot travel through space.
Sound does travel through space,
Because this
but because
says,
this space is empty space, there are
yeah,
vacuums and then there's
yes.
empty space.
Yeah,
Go
this
ahead.
says that the vacuum in space lacks the necessary molecules for sound to travel.
Mhm. But we
And so
do
it
have
doesn't.
sound in space.
That is fascinating.
Because when you think about it, we emit vibrations, and that's all that sound is a vibration. So whatever like frequency you're hearing it on, it could be a feeling, it could be a physical sound, it could be you could see sound too, but we as humans don't have that layer here on Earth to like
I
that
wonder if
visual aspect in our
animals,
eyes.
animals can see more than humans can see. I wonder if they can see sound.
I think that certain sea animals can certain sea animals can communicate through sound and whatever it's called. I sound like a smart human right
Well,
now.
I mean, bats, their whole thing is all about
Yeah,
echolocation, which is all about
echolocation
sound bouncing back to
and
them.
whales and
Hmm.
dolphins,
Yeah,
they all communicate like that, but I'm not sure how they if they see it or if it's just like a they literally hear it through the water.
that's fascinating. I mean, I'm telling you, I love sound. That did you know that when you hear the sound of a whip crack,
Hmm.
it's actually a sonic boom.
Oh, that's
When a
cool.
when a whip is snapped, it travels faster than the speed of sound, and that creates that little cracking sound, which is a little mini sonic boom.
That's really cool.
Isn't that
You're like
cool?
harnessing a sonic boom at like your fingertips.
And at your fingertips. I
That's
mean,
cool.
maybe we could bring whips into our magic because I mean that's just I love
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, sound magic is a practice within certain spiritual, esoteric, or magical traditions that involves using sound to influence or manipulate energy, consciousness, or your surroundings.
Hmm.
And the practice can take various forms, like you were talking about. You can chant, you can
Hmm.
sing,
Hmm.
it could be tones, it could be specific frequencies, instruments, anything that can bring about the desired change that you're hoping to do with your magic. It's often rooted in the belief that sound has vibrational qualities that can affect the physical and the spiritual realms, which
Hmm.
I think that's a fact. I don't think it's just a belief. I think it's very clear that sound affects both physical and spiritual realms. The practitioners or witches, I guess would be a better word, can
Us,
use sound.
hmm
It's us do it.
all of us do it.
Um, us do it. Can use sound for a variety of purposes, including healing. That's a big
Hmm.
one with
Hmm.
sound, meditation, protection, or spiritual work. Did you hear
Hmm.
that? That was my dog. She just sneezed.
I did not hear anything.
Okay, that's good. She's laying here right next to me, and she just sneezed really loudly. Um, so instruments are the most common way that you think of sound magic, like
Yeah.
drums, of course, or
Drums,
bells.
I don't know. When I think of sound magic, I don't know what I think about. I obviously think about music in a way, but earlier this week I was like, "Oh, what's our topic, you know?" And you were like, "Music
I
magic."
was
And I was
because
like,
music.
"Music? What
We
are you
didn't do
talking about?"
music.
So I don't know what I think of when I think of sound. I think of humming maybe, like a deep, like maybe it's not like a human hum.
Oh,
No, it's not
yeah,
like a, it's like
well,
I don't
a
even know how to
vibrational.
yeah, like that's what I think about. And it's circular and silverish
Oh,
in my head. I don't know.
I do like the drums because you can not only hear them but feel
Hmm.
them.
How do you
You can,
describe a sound without physically trying to make it yourself? You're like, oh,
I know
describe
that's
a
a good
drum, and
point
you're like, boom, and you're like, no, I mean, like,
because, yeah,
describe the sound. You can't,
yeah, other than vibrations,
other than,
which is more of a feeling than it is a sound.
yeah, or like a shape. Like, what shapes do you think of with different sounds?
I've never thought of sound
Because
as
when
having
you play a
shape.
drum and you have like the drum noises, I think of circles.
That's so interesting. I mean, I guess I think of waves, like when you hit the
Hmm.
drum, it
And it,
emanates from that point.
yeah,
Like,
I
we're
know. I
both
think of like
making these,
circles.
our little hands are doing these
We're
motions,
going in
y'all.
woo woo.
Um, yeah, that's a good question. But there's bells, wind chimes, as I said,
Hmm.
tuning forks. I actually
Hmm.
bought a tuning fork set that I have not had a chance to play with yet, that
Oh,
I
you're gonna love it.
really, really want to play
It's so
with.
cool. Hmm.
Singing bowls, that is something I
Oh
really,
yeah.
really, really want.
Singing
I've
bowls are
every time
very
I go,
similar to like that vibe where you dip your fingers in the water in a wine glass and then you run your fingers and it makes
yes,
that noise. That's similar.
yes.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Earthbound has singing bowls, and every time I go into
Ooh.
an Earthbound, I'm like, should I spend the money on this? I really want one. And I have never been able to convince myself to put the money into it
Yeah.
because money. But
Yeah.
gongs, you can use gongs. That,
Oh
think of the
yeah.
gongs and that reverberating, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
flutes, instruments in general. I mean, violins, anything.
When I was in middle school, I had a science class and they made us make didgeridoos.
They made you make what?
Didgeridoos.
What's that?
Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
It's
What
like
is
an
that?
instrument. And it's like a big long instrument and goes wow, 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 wow.
Oh, cool. No,
It's
I don't
really
know the
cool.
name.
And we made them out of like these cardboard tubes and bent them and made like ways to make it and decorated them.
How fun is that?
It was pretty fun.
What class was that?
It was like a
Science?
science class, I think.
What a cool
Hmm.
science teacher to
It
do
was very
that.
fun. I bet you it was a day where they were like, I don't know what to do, so I have this extra cardboard. Let's make didgeridoos.
Didgeridoos. I've never heard of that.
I think
Never
you
heard of that.
have, or maybe am I even thinking of like the correct thing? Let me let me see. Didgeridoo. Yeah, I mean I am. It is didgeridoo. It's an instrument.
I
So it is
have,
spelled Didgeridoo, and it's also spelled Didgeridu. It is a wind instrument played with vibrating lips to produce a continuous drone while using special breathing techniques called circular breathing.
you know those commercials with the Halls, was it Halls? Some kind of cough drop, Ricola, and they play the, okay, I don't
Wow, I
sing
do
well.
know what you're
Okay,
talking about. I do know what you're
but they
talking
play
about.
that thing. Is that what you're talking about? Is that a
I don't
didgeridoo?
I don't know. I do know what you're talking about, but I can't remember in depth to be able to be like, yep, that's a didgeridoo. But apparently didgeridoos are not Aboriginal Australian linguistics. So it's from
Oh,
Australia,
okay.
I think.
How cool
I would
is
have to do a little
that?
bit more research to be able to inform you much better. But
Well,
that was you just drew like a memory from like middle school out of my
yeah,
head with
you
these
just did a
damn
did you know?
didgeridoos.
Wow. Back to sound magic. You can
Anyways.
use chanting or intoning specific words, phrases, or
Hmm.
mantras. I mean, honestly, a rhyming poem is
Yeah.
a form of sound magic.
Hmm.
Um, in essence,
I
basically,
mean, anything can be sound magic.
right. I mean, basically, sound magic is based on the idea that sound and vibration have the power to shape reality and you can harness it to
Hmm.
make specific outcomes.
Hmm.
Magic, hello.
Like
Yeah.
you can even like just tapping your fingers, clapping your hands, stomping
Mm-hmm.
your feet, like
Mm-hmm.
breathing. Like we make sounds when we breathe. Like
Mm-hmm.
that could be something. And I know that in a lot of cultures and throughout history, sound has been super important.
Mm-hmm.
So, in like ancient cultures, many civilizations, such as Egypt,
Egypt.
Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, which I know we talk about like the same cultures all the time in their
Well, they
history, but
are building blocks to what we have today.
in what we know. So, all of these somehow incorporated sound into their religion, their rituals, their everyday lives, their magical practices.
Mm-hmm.
All of this included chanting, drumming, and they created these sacred instruments and had these, they invoked in these divine forces and communicated with spirits and or performed these during healing ceremonies or for parties and
Mm-hmm.
celebrations. So, in ancient Egypt, the Egyptians believed that certain words, sounds, and vibrations had the power to invoke divine forces, protect against malevolent spirits, and ensure the well being of the deceased in the afterlife. Egypt, they were really big on the afterlife. They thought
You
that
know,
that's where you were going to have the life that you deserved.
I feel like, oh God, the thought went out of my head.
Oh
What was I
gosh.
gonna say? Um, oh, power words,
Hmm.
which was also about the Egyptian time. It was, I believe it's a Jewish background that comes with these power words, words of power
Hmm.
that means something. Like, with the golem, with the Jewish, oh, we should do a thing on golems
Okay.
where you engrave
Yeah.
the word into the forehead and
Hmm.
it's those words of power. You think of words as being a sound. Words are a sound if you say
Mm-hmm.
them out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's I think I had a point.
It's
Don't know
okay.
what the point
We'll
was,
wrap around and then your point will come to
but
fruition.
I mean it was that same time period, the
Yeah.
Egyptian time period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Egyptian priests and priestesses chanted hymns,
Hymns.
and
Yeah.
hymns, and recited prayers in temples as part of their worship of various gods and goddesses.
Mm-hmm.
The most sacred of these sounds were kept secret and passed down through oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of, I mean, and that's completely understandable. Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a word, understandable.
We're both
Jeez.
just doing so well
Yes.
today.
So, I mean, it's completely understandable because you want to be able to keep that sacred. Like, let's say it's a family line or just your culture in general. You want to be able to protect and harness what is yours.
Well, and you also don't want power to be put into the hands
Mm-hmm.
of the wrong people,
Mm-hmm.
people who aren't ready. It's just like magic, our magic, witch magic, which sound magic is part of, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't want someone who is not equipped. You don't want to let them wield this kind of power without understanding it. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand keeping it secret and passing it
Mm-hmm.
down to those people who are taught to understand how to
Mm-hmm.
use it.
Exactly. And we are
Hmm.
all for like understanding and appreciating every culture. And
Hmm.
so understanding why these things are sacred and kept secret is very important. And
Hmm.
so these musical instruments, Jesus, wow, instruments such as the sistrum, the harp, and the flute were used in the temple rituals and processions to honor these gods and create a harmonious atmosphere conducive to spiritual communication, etc.
It's so interesting to think about what music, like I love medieval music, the harps and the that kind of music. But think about the music ability we have now. We've got electronic music, electric guitars and
Hmm.
synthesized sounds. They didn't have that.
No, they didn't.
They and so music has changed and the ability to use that in your magic has changed.
Hmm.
But I do love to go back to the basics, like what they had back then, because they
Yes.
didn't have what we have as far as manipulating sound like we have now.
Yeah. Could you imagine though how like organic and beautiful that sound was back
Hmm.
then? Like
Hmm.
how amazing that was?
I envision like in medieval, and I know you'll get to medieval culture in a minute, but I just imagine being in a castle and having those lutes playing, and it touches my soul with
Hmm.
that kind of
Hmm.
music.
Like when I listen to like there's this one specific song. I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's not like any mainstream song, but it's basically like bagpipes and women, like it's a
Oh,
woman vocalizing her like
like Celtic music.
yes. And it's
Yeah.
so beautiful and divine that I just want
Hmm.
to sit here and like close my eyes and just
It
be
touches you.
myself
Yeah.
just for however long that
Hmm.
music lasts. I'll have to show you what the song. It's so
Okay.
beautiful. But it's
Hmm.
something like that. And that doesn't feel like mainstream. Like a lot of the sound and the music that is produced today, sure, there's words to it, and sometimes the songs are very beautiful, but I don't know. There's just something that's kind of lost to me today.
I think so. I think so
And
too.
I think part of it is like, I mean, a lot of the songs that come out are like always talking about, body parts and having sex or doing
Yeah.
drugs. And so I feel like
Hmm.
that's a little like, I'm not into that. If you are, then that's great. But,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be like an old Karen, like you listen to whatever you want, but
You
it's
have
not
an
really
old
my
soul for
vibe.
sure.
It's
Hmm.
not my vibe. And sure, sometimes I'm like, sure, I can put on some, Cardi B.
Hmm.
I mean, it hasn't been a while since I've listened to her, but I
Hmm.
can listen to her and I enjoy her like what she does, but I also wouldn't choose to listen to that myself.
I
Like
mean,
if it's on,
even
I'll listen to it, but
even jazz has a soul to it that touches some people and it doesn't
mhm.
touch some
See,
people hate
jazz
jazz.
for me, I don't hate it. I love it. It's beautiful, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
touch my soul like how a lot of it touches
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people's souls. And I can
It
understand
does.
where it would touch your
And
soul
why?
and
Yeah.
why. But to me, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't like fill that void. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Celtic music, on the other
I
hand,
know. I
does.
agree. Mm-hmm.
So that's just like, I don't know. I feel like Celtic music or any type of like medieval music that we have and understanding of what they used to have, I feel more drawn to that. And maybe that's just because I've had multiple past lives in that, like where all that music was high energy and that's what I really resonate with. Or maybe it's just that I'm an old lady and I really like that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all of us have music, I think, touches all of us in a
in
specific
a
way.
specific and different way, which I think is
Yes,
so
everybody is
beautiful.
different.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
anyways, off of that, we
Back on
have,
track.
yes, back on track, ancient Greece. So, in ancient Greece, sound was used in religious ceremonies, theater performances, and philosophical teachings, which I think is really
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Teaching with sound is beautiful.
The Greeks were very big on acting, and
Hmm.
sound was a big
Yes.
part of that. Yeah.
And so they had music and poetry, and they were highly valued as expressions of divine inspiration and cultural identity. The
Hmm.
Greeks believed in the power of music to evoke specific emotions, purify the soul, and harmonize the cosmos. I was doing
Hmm.
so good until I wasn't. So, Pythagoras, the ancient Greek philosopher, explored the mathematical and metaphysical aspects of music. Of course, he did,
I
teaching
always
that
think
the
of Jessica. Every time mathematics come in, I'm like, Jessica.
how do you think, like speaking specifically and only to Jessica, how do you think numbers and music go together? I feel like numbers are in everything,
Oh,
obviously.
I feel like not, music is
Is
numbers,
numbers.
100%.
Everything
Yeah.
is numbers,
But
though.
I would be
And
curious, Jessica, let us know what you think about the connection between
like,
music and numbers. Yeah.
are there different types of numbers and different types of music? Like, am I way off or am I kind of
Mm-hmm.
on the right idea?
Curious, very
Yeah.
curious. Yeah.
So um, yes, explored mathematical and metaphysical aspects of music, teaching that the universe was governed by harmonic proportions,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really cool because if you think
Mm-hmm.
about the universe, I can go on about the universe
I know,
forever
me
because it's
too.
so cool. But if you think about the universe and how, I mean, if it depends on what you believe in. If you think we're here for a purpose, then we're here for a purpose. But if you just think we're here out of the odds of being created and all the
Mm-hmm.
cosmic dust, then we don't really know how sound really works out there then because I feel like everything has an order. And if you believe in fate, then all of this was supposed to happen and there's balance. But if it's just random, then I feel like it's chaos if it's just random.
Your internet or mine, somebody, one of
Oh,
our internets is starting to
mine's been fine on
stagger.
on this end. So,
Okay. Hopefully, since you're recording this is
yeah,
good on your
I
end.
shouldn't have any issues since I'm the one that'll edit and use it off my computer.
Okay.
So, Um,
Okay.
so anyways, he says that the universe is governed by harmonic proportions, and I just love that. I don't know why. It just feels
Mm-hmm.
right. So
I know that touches me too.
the theater to the Greek in Greece, anyways, was a sacred space where the voices of actors accompanied by music and song connected mortals with the gods and conveyed moral lessons to the audience, which I think is really cool. I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
I think
this is just kind of where all of like the acting and theater quote
I
begins. I
think
know it's
so
not,
too,
but
because there were no movies back then.
no.
This was
But
how
I'm
they
not saying
connected.
that the Greek are like they're not the ones who invented it. Like I know that there had to have been
Right.
stories and acting, quote, whatever you want to call it, storytelling with our bodies for
Right.
like
Years and years,
generations
way
and way
prior
before.
to,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm
for
not
sure.
saying that, but the way that the Greek had portrayed it through theater and adding music and sound, this is how they were able to perform that in
And
that
they
way.
connected with the gods that way.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
And so The Greeks' tragedies and comedies were performed with these live music and choruses, emphasizing the emotional and cathartic power of sound, which
Yeah,
I agree. Like,
I agree.
sound can be used in any way.
Hmm.
Now let's move into India. So, we don't really talk about India when we talk
Not a
about
lot. Yeah.
history, and I thought this was
Hmm.
super cool. So, in ancient India, sound was revered as a manifestation of the divine and a fundamental force in creation of substance of the universe,
Okay.
which I don't entirely know what that means, especially after a long day of work, but I really like it.
I do too. I mean, I agree. Sound is divine,
Mhm.
100%.
So the ancient Sanskrit texts considered sacred in Hinduism contains hymns, hymns,
Hmm. Hymns,
Jesus, and
hymns, darling,
mantras,
hymns.
hymns, and mantras that were chanted during rituals to evoke gods, seek blessings, and maintain cosmic order.
Hmm.
So
So all the way
mantra,
back to sounds Sanskrit,
uh-huh,
they had
they
sound
had.
was a big thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mantra chanting was also important and still remains important today. Music
Hmm.
and dance were also important aspects of religious rituals and cultural celebrations in ancient India. And I feel like they also are important today as well.
Today. Hmm.
Hmm. And then instruments such as the tabla, sitar, and the bamboo flute were used to accompany the devotional songs and classical dance performers dedicated to various deities. And
Hmm.
I just think it's so cool. By I am fascinated by every culture because I think that every
I
culture
am
is so
too.
beautiful.
Hmm.
But when I was reading about this period in ancient India, it I don't know, something just really spoke to me. And I know I've talked about the Hindu um gods and goddesses before, and I just
Hmm.
think that everything about their culture is so beautiful.
Hmm.
Now, now I have so much on history.
I know.
Should we just kind of jump or what?
Maybe so because we are going long.
We are, and it's because we are deviating off topic, but I will just
Well,
kind of
but we love it.
I know. I'll just do like a rough, like
Okay.
scrunch it. So
Okay.
next is the indigenous traditions. So we all know that the indigenous cultures across the globe have long recognized the power of sound in their spiritual practices.
Hmm.
So in particular, they involve drumming, chanting, and vocalizations, which is like that lower humming, which I think is beautiful.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this is where they enter altered states of consciousness and journey to other realms and facilitate healing.
Hmm.
So you have that in many indigenous traditions, and I know that they have them in the Inuit for specific, like there's like that really deep humming, but I just think it's
Hmm.
so beautiful, and they say that they often use music and song and dance as offerings to nature spirits and as expression of gratitude for the earth's abundance, which I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, we got to remember, I mean, here being in Americans, we often think of Native Americans as the only indigenous people, but
Mhm.
there are indigenous people in
Everywhere.
every
Hmm.
country all
Hmm.
over the world.
Yes.
And each of those indigenous people use sound in honoring their gods, whatever
Hmm.
those may
I
be.
mean, looking at all the history, every single culture has done something with sound to honor whatever it is that they believed in, whether it's a singular god, two gods, like deities that aren't specifically gods and stuff like that. So
I
somehow it's
mean,
all connected.
given that you and I are from United States, there we think of the American natives,
Hmm.
and the cultures that we've been exposed to, they have the drumming that
Hmm.
is very indicative of their culture, and the dancing
And the chanting.
and the chanting,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
But I think all of that happens all over the world and all of the indigenous peoples.
They're all different variations, but we all use
Hmm.
sound. And I just think it's
Hmm.
so cool. And then
Mm-hmm.
just brief touch on the medieval and Renaissance Europe specifically. So during this time, sound was integral in many of their actual performances of magic and witchcraft. And
Mm-hmm.
so witches were believed to use these incantations and spoken spells to cast, you know, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
and summon spirits and work
Mm-hmm.
magic. They also use bells. This is where bells come in with witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
bells
Mm-hmm.
and drums and rattles, which I was taken aback. I was like, I never thought of a rattle. Like, I know what you're talking about. Like, not a baby
Mm-hmm.
rattle, like a rattle. I was like, that's really cool. I never associated rattles with witchcraft, but it makes sense.
It does make sense,
It does.
100%.
And so these were used in rituals for protection, divination, cursing,
Right?
whatever it may be.
Hexes,
Yes.
whatever it is.
Woo.
But we still have sound magic today. I mean,
Yes.
it's come from the past and we still have it today. And did you know that different frequencies of sound are believed to have different healing properties, like the purring of a cat? And I love it when my
Mm,
cat Abu
yeah.
deigns to come and sit on me and purr. But healing, the cat supposedly has healing
hmm
frequencies, but
I've heard that.
520, 528 hertz is often called the love frequency, and it's associated with healing and transformation.
hmm
Okay, so in our world today, we want to use sound magic. So let's understand a little bit about sound magic. It involves using sound, vibrational influences to manipulate energy, our intentions, and spiritual states. We sound magic is kind of now embraced as a way to raise energy. That we're all about our energy. It's a way to focus our mind and to enhance our spell work or our ritual work. Did you know? I have to tell you,
hmm
volcanoes are the loudest sound on Earth.
Really? Not
Yes.
thunder?
Nope. Volcanoes.
Wow.
These geological behemoths produce the loudest natural sounds on our planet. And the energy and turbulence that they unleash creates a deafening roar that, if you're close enough, it can both be heard and felt deeply in your bones.
Wow.
But if you're close enough to hear one, you're probably screwed because you're about to be enveloped by lava. What is
I guess
that
it
stuff called?
depends.
What is the stuff that comes off before the lava? That
Mm,
that hot gas that like obliterated Pompeii.
it's not the ash, is it?
It's a word. There's a word for it. But
I
anyway,
can't remember. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Hmm.
But let's talk about different techniques that we can use in
hmm
sound magic.
hmm
So we've got the chanting and the intonation. So you can chant specific words, phrases, you can do a mantra, whatever helps you focus your energy and intention.
hmm
And it can be in any language, like I think we've
Oh
talked
yeah.
about before in different another episode where it could be Latin if you want to, because that just feels right to you.
hmm
We always see it in the movies that Latin is
Absolutely.
and
hmm
it can be Latin, it can be Spanish, it can be Italian, it can be whatever language feels right
hmm
for that. It can
hmm
just consist of syllables. You've got the whole om
Yeah.
thing.
It can be
It can
used
just
any
be,
sound. Yeah.
yeah, any sound that resonates with you as a witch.
hmm Yeah. I think that's really cool too. And I think that's where you just need to define what you want.
Yeah,
And I
for
think
sure.
what's standard is, the chanting and incantations, but maybe you want musical instruments instead. And so
Hmm.
sort of like how we were talking about earlier, where you have, the drums and the bells and singing bowls and gongs, you have tuning forks and flutes. It literally is not, what is the word, like boiled down to those
Yeah,
things.
we're
Like it
not
could be
limited. Yeah.
anything.
Yes.
Like I said, it could be you tapping your fingers on,
Yeah. It
you
could be
know,
two sticks that you can bang,
mhm.
whatever it
Exactly.
is.
You just need tools that'll produce vibrations and frequencies that you can use to align your energy. You can like cleanse your space with it. It's just whatever feels right to you, then that's what you can apply these to. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can also invoke specific spiritual energies with that sound as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have bi, help me with this word,
Binaural.
binaural. See, I'm the person who couldn't say perennial, read it. Like I couldn't read perennial and say perennial. I always said something different because I read it
Mm-hmm.
weird. Same with this one.
Well, readers, that is a very common thing, and I
Yes.
think a lot of our listeners are probably readers as well. And
Yes.
when you don't hear it and you just read it, you
hmm
pronounce it how you think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So these types of beats involve playing two slightly different frequencies in each ear, creating a third frequency in the mind, which I think
Yeah,
it hurts my head.
it's like when you have on um headphones
hmm
and you have one beat coming out of one your right ear
hmm
and one, but in the middle of your brain it
It like
forms this third, yeah.
it gets put together.
Yes.
Some music will do that. Like some artists will produce music where it'll play specifically in the left side of your
Yes,
headphones,
on your
specifically in your
headphones.
right side, and then it'll like create this tune. It's really cool.
And
Um
do you ever feel that? I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. It
I
comes
don't think
together
that
in the middle of your brain.
I don't consciously feel it connecting, but I understand that it's connecting, if that
I
makes
feel
sense.
it
Like I don't
right there in the
feel it.
middle of my brain.
But
Yeah.
I
Okay.
consciously understand that that's what's happening. So
Mm-hmm.
you can use this technique for meditation, relaxation, whatever you think you need your state of mind to be in, you can use it with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to say sound baths and meditation
Yes.
are
Yes.
very important in a way to sound. So, sound baths involve immersing oneself in sound from various instruments. So, this experience can promote relaxation, healing, and spiritual insight. Similarly, sound meditation combines mindfulness practices with sound to deepen focus and connect with your inner self. So, let's say you are laying in a bath and
Mm-hmm.
you are essentially floating in this warm water. I was going to say warm
Mm-hmm.
fluid. That did not sound right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
God.
let's
Yeah,
not go there.
no. So you're laying in this warm, comfortable zone in your bath
Mm-hmm.
and you're playing this music that might penetrate the water a little bit. So I like to put my ears underwater, but if you're a person who can't get water in your ears, then that's
Mm-hmm.
completely fine. You can just lay like with your head above water. But I like to hear the difference between whatever sound I'm playing, like off my phone or whatever it may be, and how it's kind of muted when I'm in the water. I can still hear it, but it's like muted, and you have like you can actually hear the water moving and like the just how it
Did you
feels
know that
good.
sound actually travels more more better? It travels more
More
better
better.
through water than it does outside of water. It
Hmm.
it is. It actually travels
I'm
really,
skeptical.
it really does.
Hmm.
But also with the sound baths, I've there are now all kinds of uh I don't know what the word is.
Tools, instruments,
Well,
things.
you can go and hire somebody. You can go and be part of a sound bath, and it's where the sound surrounds you
Mm-hmm.
and the bath is the sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's from all around you, and people pay good money to go and become
No, I
involved
have the
in a
cheap at
sound bath.
home version of whatever that is.
In our bathtub, that's what we do.
Yes,
But
yes.
it has become a huge thing to go and do sound baths. You can actually, Google it
hmm
and see where you can go in your local area, wherever you are,
Oh yeah.
and have a sound bath. And it is supposed to be, I've never done it, but I can imagine because I love sound, that it would be very relaxing and healing to
hmm
do that. I actually would love to go and do that,
hmm
honestly.
hmm
But you also have whispering spells.
Ooh,
So instead of being this loud music that we're
yeah.
talking about, or the loud sounds, the drums and whatnot, whispering your intentions, spells, or affirmations can subtly direct energy.
hmm hmm
And it can be really effective if you're working with different spirits or the elements,
Yeah,
like
I could
air
see that.
air elements.
Hmm.
And then speaking of elements, you do have elemental connections. Use sound to connect with the elements. The sound of running water or a bubbling brook can connect you to the element of water,
Hmm.
while, we all know the sound of the crackle of a fire in a fireplace.
Oh yeah.
That sound can connect you to the element of fire. Um, the power of sound really is amazing. And did you know that sound waves, when harnessed correctly, can actually levitate small items?
Ooh.
Yeah, if you use ultrasonic waves at just the right frequency, researchers have managed to defy gravity, making objects float in midair and showcasing the incredible power of sound.
That's really
So,
cool.
yeah, to me, I think what what great way to travel would this be if we just sound doesn't cost anything.
Hmm.
They've
Hmm.
got these trains that travel with electromagnets and that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Like bullet trains and stuff.
Yeah, why not use sound? You
Hmm.
can have transportation using sound. Anyway, I think that's fascinating. But I mean, this topic is a little bit of a no-brainer because we've all experienced music
Hmm.
and sound and how it can totally change how we're feeling.
Hmm.
Uplifting music, suddenly you're
You're
happy, or
happy.
sad music. Sound definitely affects us. So it's obvious that if we use sound in our spells, that it can definitely enhance or manipulate the energies that we're
Hmm.
trying to work with.
Yeah.
Um, Music, actually, speaking, I mean, not just sound, but music is a chemical reaction in the brain and it
Hmm.
affects everybody individually. Like you said, jazz is not for you, but it is for some people. For some people, that gives them the same feeling as Celtic music does to you. But sound, spell work and rituals can use sound magic.
Hmm.
You can incorporate that into your spell work or rituals to amplify your intentions.
Hmm.
You can do that through that chanting, the rhyming spells, singing. You can sing
Yep.
even if you don't sing well, like we don't sing well.
Oh, it's awful.
If we're casting our own spell, what's who cares how we sound? It's the whole point of the sound that we're using to manipulate the energy.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen those TikToks that talk about soundproofing with egg cartons?
No.
There are these TikToks out there, and they're like, "Oh, you can soundproof your room," but it doesn't really work because for a material to absorb sound efficiently, it needs to have these little tiny structures that can transform the force of the sound waves
Hmm.
into kinetic energy. And the egg cartons just don't have that. They're too
Interesting.
thin, they don't have the density, so they are certainly less effective than there are man-made industry standard acoustic panels that you can put
Hmm.
to amplify, to de-amplify, I guess is the right word, music.
De-amplify.
Yeah, you don't want the music out. It's soundproofing, so it stays within your
It's
room.
to like not let the sound bounce off the walls, like the hard surfaces.
Yes.
Sound will bounce, and so it'll absorb it into these acoustic panels.
I would do the whole egg carton thing when you come over to my house because we have tried to record over here in this
And it's
in my witch room, and
mhm,
it echoes
it's
horribly.
awful. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, I can afford egg cartons. I don't think I can afford the
Like a
industry
large, yeah,
acoustic
acoustic
panels.
panel.
Egg cartons for the win.
Woo! So, why do you want to practice sound magic? So, energy alignment is very important, and that's something that sound can help with in your practice. Wow, I'm
Hmm.
messing. It's a whole mess right
No,
now.
no, that
So,
was good.
sound magic can help align a witch's or practitioner's energy with their intentions, creating a harmonious and focused state of mind.
Hmm.
You can also use I was going to say space. You can also use sound as space cleansing. So
Hmm.
certain sounds, such as, from bells, like we were talking about earlier, or singing bowls, can cleanse and purify a space, dispelling negative energies and promote a positive atmosphere.
Yeah, that's why you put like when you have bells on your door that
Hmm.
you open the door and they ding, it's to cleanse the negative energy as they come in.
I felt like a lot of people just put bells to notify that somebody was coming in.
I mean, that's true too, but I think it also cleanses the
Hmm.
space.
I have a new way of looking at bells now
Hmm.
in
For sure.
doorways. And
Hmm.
then you can also use them for emotional healing because it can facilitate emotional release and healing by creating an environment that encourages introspection and self-awareness.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hmm.
I do think that music, I mean, have you ever meditated? Well, you do your meditations that we give to our patrons.
I haven't done one in a while. I'm so sorry.
I know. But I think that sound, you do guided meditation. That's
Hmm.
your
And
voice,
I try to put nice
music,
meditative sounds in the background.
but it's your voice leading them through this emotional healing process or
Yeah.
whatever it is that your particular
Yeah.
episode is trying to do.
Hmm.
But did you know that back in 2017, the Mount Sinai School of Medicine produced a study that showed that patients recovering from spinal surgery actually reported decreased pain when music was used as a part of their therapy.
Interesting.
That is
What
fascinating to
kind
me.
of
That
music, though,
I, I don't know, but I think that that just goes to show that music or sound in general
can be
can
like
promote
very
healing.
powerful and strong?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I heard, I researched that through sound, practitioners or witches, whatever you want to be called, can connect more deeply with their spiritual guides and ancestors or deities as well.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Hmm. Hmm. I feel like each ancestor, spiritual guide, deity, they all work within a certain frequency. And if you find a sound that works with that, then I feel like you can be tuned with them a little bit better.
See, and that's where it sound difference from differs from music
Hmm.
because, our ancestors, we might have had some in the 20s that were into the 20s music. So our music isn't going to connect with them,
Hmm.
but sound in general
Will.
might connect with
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Hmm.
So here are some tips for practicing sound magic. You got to experiment with different sounds. Explore different instruments. Are you a guitar player? Play your guitar.
Hmm.
Do you play the flute? Play the flute. Find what sounds resonate with you and align with your intentions. Start small. Begin with simple practices such as chanting or using a single instrument, and then you can gradually expand as you become more comfortable. Set clear intentions. Before starting your practice, set a clear intention for what you hope to achieve with your sound magic.
Hmm.
Listen to your gut. That's super important. Allow your intuition to guide you in choosing the sounds and methods that work best for you. Practice mindfulness. Being present and mindful during your practice can enhance your effectiveness of your sound magic.
Hmm.
And then since we were accused of not doing enough witchcraft in our episodes, I came up
Wow,
with an actual
wow.
spell. I'm trying
Wow.
to please everybody. I want to make everybody happy.
Wow.
So I actually play music when I do my jar spells. I have
Okay.
a witchy music list that I listen to.
Oh, I don't have one. I should make one.
It's yeah, you should. Absolutely should. Because and what works for me doesn't work for other people,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know. So you find what music you want. But here is an example spell for using sound magic. And this one is to empower yourself with confidence. So find a quiet, sacred space. I feel like it goes without saying.
Hmm.
Find your instrument, a singing bowl, a bell, your tuning fork, a candle, because what would witchcraft be without candles?
Nothing.
Choose the
Sorry.
color of your choice. And since you're wanting confidence in this particular spell, you might want to choose gold or orange or yellow. Those are the confidence colors. A crystal associated with confidence, such as citrine, tiger's eye, or carnelian.
Mm-hmm.
A written affirmation or mantra or a written spell, whatever, if you want to write your own spell
Mm-hmm.
that pertains to confidence and empowerment. A lighter and matches. So you prepare your space as you always do. You cleanse your space, however you cleanse. It could be with a salt circle, it could be with incense, essential oils, whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
you normally do to cleanse your space. Arrange your materials on a small altar in front of you. You light your candle and focus on its flame. This symbolizes the energy of confidence and empowerment that you are seeking to bring into your life.
Mm-hmm.
You hold your crystal in your hand, you close your eyes, you visualize its energy merging with your own, creating this powerful aura around you. Set your intention. You read your written affirmation or mantra. You say it aloud. You can feel the words that are coming out of you. Um, allow that sound to build in your body and mind. If you're going to use a singing bowl or bell, whatever your instrument is, you start to use it and you focus on the vibrations and you let that sound wash over you. You let it cleanse and align your energy. You chant your affirmation. Um, you visualize your empowerment. And then when you're done, you close your spell. And when you feel the energy of confidence fully within you, you can stop the chanting, stop the music, whatever sound it is, and let it fade. And then you thank your spiritual guides, your deities, if you use deities, um, and allow the candle to burn safely down, releasing its energy into the universe. And then, of course, we've had an episode about how to take care of yourself after spell casting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you do those things to keep yourself from having a spell hangover, that kind of thing, ground yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but, remember, spells are personal. They should be tailored to your belief. It should be whatever you feel is right, but approach it with respect, mindfulness, and clear intentions. And I have one more. Did you know
Okay.
that sound as a form of energy can interact with its surroundings in all kinds of surprising ways? And one of the most intriguing applications of sound energy is its ability to extinguish flames. And as a fire witch, this fascinated me.
That's cool.
Yeah, it might seem like it's science fiction, but
Mm-hmm.
researchers have actually been able to demonstrate that sound waves can be used to put out flames. I mean,
I don't know what to think about that.
has
That's really cool.
that is very cool. Sound has power and it's everywhere. And it's as simple as using your own voice if you want to in your
Hmm.
magic. It's very cool.
I
I
like that.
really, really liked this episode. It meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I like this one too. It was very interesting, especially with the history. I love the history and
Hmm.
hearing about and learning about how all the cultures create, like how they use sound to create those feelings, to get closer to their deities and
Hmm.
etc. I really
Hmm.
liked this episode.
Me too.
I am a bit sleepy.
Me too. It's been a long ass day, I'm
It
telling
has
you.
been. So hopefully this episode wasn't so bad in us messing up and stuttering and saying things. Wow. But if you want more of our mess, you could go to www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find links to all of our social medias, which is YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, uh, Instagram,
Instagram. Yeah.
X, if I can re-log in.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that one in a while.
hmm and then you can also find information about our episodes. That's our normal episodes and our After Dark episodes on the front page of our website. You can also
Hmm.
find our blog and our newsletter there as well. You just click on the tabs at the top. And you can also go and find our merch there. You can click the merch link at the top, or you can go to www.c3witchypodcastmerch.com. There we have all sorts of designs out right now. We have a Letha and a Lamas designed, a After
Mm-hmm.
Dark design, two After Dark designs, we each did one,
Mm-hmm.
and a normal design. So if you want to
And
support us
these
that way, you can
limited
definitely do
edition.
that. Limited
So
edition.
once this season is over, they'll be
Yep.
gone forever.
Once
So
Lamas is over, we'll create a new batch, and we're also trying and using another company slash doing it ourselves this
mm-hmm.
time to make it more affordable for both us and you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can also, if you like what you hear, you can also join our After Dark series that's on Patreon, as well as our Buzzsprout subscriptions. Buzzsprout, you only get the episodes, but on Patreon, you get extra goodies too, kind of.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
we're
I post
we're
coloring
having a hard
pages,
time.
we
Yeah.
post recipes,
hmm
that kind of thing. If you,
Meditations.
oh yeah, yeah, Ren does her meditations, which are
hmm
awesome.
Yeah.
All kinds of fun goodies as a patron. Subscribers, the good part is you can listen to our special
On your
episodes
platform of your
on your
choice.
platform. Yeah, which is huge. I
Yes.
understand.
Yes. So I think that's it.
I think so. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
And until then, stay witchy.
Woo.